Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be talking about laws of averages and how it helps to be successful in anything you do. Before moving on, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel Mindset Madness. So, without any further ado, let's get straight to the video. What is law of averages? The law of averages is a notion that says that as the frequency increases, the likelihood of particular events evens out. This idea states that if you keep trying until you reach your goal, you will eventually succeed more frequently. The bulk of citizens will refuse you whether you follow this guideline to your relationship life, your job search, or your artistic endeavor. But don't lose hope. The law of averages tells us, and successful people have demonstrated, that the more criticism you get, the nearer you come to discovering someone who will collaborate with you. Let's consider the following example to help you understand. Example of law of averages. Sarah flicked a coin 5 times, each time getting tails. He informed his pal Mary that he would bet $100 on the heads on the next coin flip, since he was due for one. Chris has a 0.5 free throw percentage, which means he makes 1 out of every 2 attempts. Chris was fouled by a teammate and was awarded 2 free throws. After failing the first, a spectator noted that given Chris's record and percentage, he was confident that he would make the second. The law of averages can be shown with the examples above. The law of averages is a fallacy obtained from the law of large numbers. It's also known as the gambler's fallacy. We will discuss it later in this video, but first, let's talk about the example. Sarah might be thinking about the law in the previous case. We'll get to it later. But in the previous example, Sarah might be pondering about the law of large numbers when he wagers Mary on the next coin flip being heads. The reality is that the chance is still 50% each time Sarah flips a coin, each with a separate trial. After 5 tails flips, the likelihood of receiving heads is still 50%. The coin had forgotten that the previous 5 flips had all been tails. Sarah is due for a heads flip according to the chance calculations, but the coin doesn't care. However, if Sarah flips the identical coin 1,000 times, the experimental probably equal 50%, which is the predicted chance after all those trials. This is the full force of the law of vast numbers. Gambler's fallacy. The gambler's fallacy, also known as the Monte Carlo fallacy, arises when a person incorrectly thinks that the result of a prior event or series of events makes a chance occurrence less probable or more likely to occur. This line of reasoning is wrong because previous experiences have no bearing on the likelihood of a specific events occurring in the future. If a succession of occurrences is arbitrary and unrelated to one another, the conclusion of one or more of them cannot impact or anticipate the outcome of the following event by definition. The gambler's fallacy involves incorrectly determining whether a series of occurrences is completely random and autonomous, and incorrectly assuming that the following event's consequence will be the polar opposite of the previous chain of actions. Let's take a look at the following examples to have a better understanding of it. Number 1. For the last 3 games, that team has won the coin toss. As a result, they will very certainly lose the coin toss today. Number 2. That family has had 3 consecutive girls. The next one is almost certainly going to be a male. Number 3. The wheel had landed on 12 the last time they spun it. As a result, it will not land on the number 12 this time. Number 4. Kevin has won the last 5 poker hands. Wade believes Kevin will never have another strong hand, so he stakes everything against him. Number 5. For the past 5 years, the baseball team has competed for the national championship every year, and they have always lost in the last session. This is their year to finally win. Number 6. Ashley has had 5 job interviews this week and has yet to receive an offer. I believe today is the day for her. The psychology of the gambler's fallacy. The belief stems from an understanding of the law of small numbers. This viewpoint holds that small groups of numbers must be indicative of the broader picture. People believe that the number of boys and girls in a household, city, or historical period should be around 50 to 50, if the birth rate of girls and boys is 50% each. The gambler's fallacy can lead to misplaced optimism. Someone in an abusive relationship, for example, may assume that because their partner has been violent for a week, they are due for a good streak. We have looked at both law of averages and gambler's fallacy. Let's look at some differences between them. Gambler's fallacy and law of averages. The gambler's fallacy holds that the more you play in a casino, the better your chances of winning are. Hence, you should keep playing. A fact, this is incorrect because casino games are fixed to benefit the house. Real world isn't a gamble, and I believe that anyone who sets out to accomplish a goal may succeed if they put it in the time and the energy. When you don't improve your abilities with each endeavor, the law of averages can only fail. You must examine the data generated by your efforts and apply it to your next attempt. Big, large entrepreneurs do things like this. They throw a bunch of concepts at the board and see what stays. The key is to take whatever is sticking and turn it into something else. Let's take the example of my own life to help you understand about the law of averages and how it helps to be successful in anything you do. Door-to-door sales was one of the first genuine jobs I ever had. Because the income was solely commission-based, it was entirely feasible to labor 60 hours in a week and earn nothing. Now, fortunately for me, the training that they provided was excellent, and one specific principle has stuck with me to this day. That principle is so powerful that it has enabled me to achieve huge success in all aspects of my life. As an example, I believe it is reasonable to assert that this principle can assist you in achieving success in any endeavor. So, you're probably wondering what this concept is. The law of averages is the principle which I am talking about, and I am truly grateful to the job for teaching me such a fantastic thing. Now, you must comprehend what our law of averages and what it means to you. Allow me to build a scene and a scenario for what my profession entails. So I was given tasks, or you might say I was given a huge responsibility, which was to sell telecommunication services, such as television, internet, and home phones. I used to spend the most of my days seeking for possible purchasers by knocking on doors. Throughout the day, I would encounter 3 different types of people. The first was the wood hard-nosed customers, who loved their current provider and had no issues with them, so they didn't want to hear your voice. You can compare them to those people who chase you off their porch with their large collection of people's true stories. By the way, it would take the best of the best salesmen to persuade them to buy, and even then, the chances of success would be slim. Because this demographic accounted for around 80% of all shoppers, these were the most difficult people to deal with in the past. Since they wanted something so much, the next type was the medium tough to deal with. They were far less common than hard consumers, accounting for only approximately 10% of the total consumer population. They were unconcerned about the provider. They didn't love them, but neither did they despise them. There were always 1 or 2 things they wished could be better, but they weren't looking to buy. They were, however, eager to listen, and the best of the salespeople were able to seal a good portion of the deal. While a reasonably excellent salesperson might be able to snag a few of these types of customers, if you're new to the game, you'll find it difficult to close the deal. Now, coming towards the final and most enjoyable type of customer, the simple one, and these are my favorite. They were simple customers and exceedingly unusual, but they were first-time buyers who had already experienced problems with their existing service providers and were considering switching but never did. You simply add a sale if you as a salesperson or to find these people, regardless of how awful a salesperson you were. All you had to do was not mess up the paperwork, and you'd have a good chance of discovering these. The point of me telling you all this is that the law of averages states that the likelihood of certain events evens out if the frequency is increased, which means that if I spend an entire day bumping into only hard-nosed consumers, I shouldn't get discouraged, because if I keep knocking, I'll eventually bump into an easy consumer, which was not always the case, as I recall one day in particular. I was terrified because I was in a massive apartment complex with approximately 300 entrances and about 15 floors. In my head, I remember spending almost 10 hours that day knocking on doors and getting yelled at from all sides. I was thinking, my ass, that rule of averages is all about the region, the product's pricing, and the weather outdoors, and is completely a hoax. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to show them that the law of averages is a complete fabrication. And when I got to the very underside of the 15th floor, guess what? The last 3 doors were all convenient buyers consecutively, practically begging to be switched over. And I remember going home that day flabbergasted by the power of the law of averages. And my success grew as I worked there over the years, with this concept glued in my mind. Now you guys be like, what does the law of averages have to do with us? Like, we don't do sales. But the point is that, well, no matter what your goal is or what you do, you're going to run into a lot of jerks, and you're going to get a lot of rejections, even if you're good at what you do. However, the law of averages can help you stay motivated and keep moving forward by stating that once in a blue moon, you'll come across some opportunities that are literally waiting for you to walk through the door. Whether it's in your dating life, getting a job, or even getting praise for your creative work, the vast majority of people will simply ignore you. What you must remember is that the more time you take initiative, the more time you will be turned down, and this is what will bring you closer to finding those who are truly eager to work with you. Well, that was it for this video. I hope you like it. Share your thoughts and views in the comments section below, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel Mindset Madness. Till next time, meet you in the next video. So stay safe and thanks for watching.